Hey, what up, everybody? This is Box Out Chat, and I'm your host, G1, and welcome to episode 4. Box Out Chat is happy to announce that we've got ourselves up and running on YouTube, obviously, since you're watching this. We've got ourselves up on Instagram. Just look out for Box Out Chat, and we are also currently on Twitter at Box Out Chat. So make sure you're following all 3 strands here. Make sure you're following all 3 social networks to get the latest news, get some hot takes, and just follow along and be entertained, have a little fun. Today's episode, I wanted to look at the Eastern Conference of the NBA, right here, the Eastern Conference, and look at perhaps the race going on. The top 8 teams make the playoffs. Therefore, I just wanted to look at those top 8 teams and a little bit beneath them to see if any other teams can squeeze in there. And I'll give you my takes on who I think will squeeze in there. We'll start at the bottom and swing to the top. Now, we've got the Charlotte Hornets up there. Charlotte Hornets had a fun season. They got to host this year's All-Star break, if you remember. We talked a little bit about that during our second episode, and speaking about our predictions on the All-Star break, that was a lot of fun. They're having a Charlotte Hornets type of season, so they're gonna hover around 500 with Kemba Walker, their best player, doing their thing. Unfortunately, they're not making really good use of a lot of their youth, and Kemba is just stuck in no man's land out there in Charlotte, North Carolina. Unfortunately, I don't see these guys busting in. I don't see them making that 8th seed that they so badly want. And even if they do, Giannis and the Bucks will be there to take care of them. So I don't see them going too far in all of this. If they do, however, and if they actually make it into the playoffs, I certainly see them being out in maybe 4 or 5 games unless something drastically happens and they change their style of play. Right now, their best player is their ball handler. And beyond that, well, got a lot of youth, a lot of exciting players, a lot of guys who can jump out of the gym, but definitely not a team I would worry about if I were the 1st or 2nd seed. Having said all of that, though, there's somebody that I really like right underneath them, and that's the Orlando Magic. They've got a decent team, and I'm kind of surprised that they're not a little bit higher currently in the standings. I like them. I like their youth. I like their veteran leadership. I like so many players on this team. Let's start off with their All-Star, their first-time All-Star, and Vucevic. What a great player! What a soft touch. He's like Joker light, right? Great passer. Great court vision, can see the game well, can shoot the ball well, great footwork, decent on defense, like most European big men. But other than that, like T. Ross is a great veteran leader, and he can put up points in a heartbeat. I also like very much the way that they move with some of their dunkers. Running the wings and just absolutely dunking on everyone. And they're not a bad 3-point shooting team either. So I could definitely see them getting into the playoffs. I can see them making a little run and just sneaking in there. Having to face Milwaukee or Toronto in the first round, won't be easy for them. But making the playoffs would definitely be a feather in their hat. What do you think? Let me know. Orlando, all right. Miami, for sentimental reasons, I would really like for them to make it. Seeing Dwayne Wade play in the playoffs, finals, yeah, he wishes. Seeing Dwayne Wade play in the playoffs in his last season. This year is his last season. If you haven't noticed, I don't know where you've been, but if you haven't noticed, he's been having this really cool thing where he goes around the league and he trades his jersey with another player at the end of the game, usually the designated captain of another team. So that's been really nice to see the respect that he's gotten from the other players this year. But beyond that, I can't see Miami doing anything. I don't see them squeezing into the playoffs. Washington, I wish Washington would have pulled off some sort of deal for Beal because, well, keeping him in Wall is not going to work, obviously. They've had a few years now where they've just been making run after run. They've been a very promising team. And then they started dumping off some of their bigs and started dumping off some of their wings to keep these guys together. Beal is awesome, and I love Beal's game. He's quick, he's tough, he's gritty, he's grimy. You know, he'll get dirty and get underneath your skin on the defensive end. He can shoot the three and post up the smaller guards. But I don't. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. Who am I kidding? They were doing really well for a while there. They had climbed up the standings a few weeks back and looked like they were poised to stay locked into a playoff spot, but unfortunately couldn't hold it. And I don't see them holding it, quite frankly. They're just not a good enough team. That trade with Chicago on the deadline, I think, kind of sent a message to the league that, hey, they're willing to sit out this playoff year, this playoff season, and hopefully do something nicer in the draft. Onwards and upwards. I'm not even touching on Atlanta and Chicago and even the Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks. In a couple of years, I can see Chicago doing really well. I love Markkanen. I love LaVine. I can see that being nice for them. Cleveland and New York, they're just trying to finish in the bottom so that they can get a better draft pick. What are the Knicks going to do? I hope Zion doesn't go to the Knicks. Man, that team is cursed. They have a tendency to just mess everything up. So, a.k.a. Porzingis, a unicorn, yeah. We see what happened to him. So much promise, so much potential. Next thing you know, they trade the man away for nothing. Literally nothing. So onward and upward, looking at the number 7 seed as of today, Detroit Pistons. All right. Detroit with, Blake could potentially be a tough matchup for anyone in the East. But they also have this thing about them where they just kind of take 3 or 4 games in a row off. They just kind of disappear. And they come back, win 2, come back, lose 2, and on and on. And I love Dwayne Casey. I love this time with the Raptors. The Raptors unfortunately had to pull the trigger on somebody, and it wasn't going to be any one of their players. So they pulled the trigger on Dwayne Casey, the coach. Too bad. All right, great coach. Has shown to be a player's coach, has shown to be able to put up with attitudes, and has dealt with Blake Griffin tremendously. So look out for them to be a tough matchup. They could potentially move up to 6. I can totally see that. Brooklyn, oh man, my guy Russell, D'Angelo's having an awesome season. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy that he's kind of put all of that Lakers stuff to rest right now, and he's just doing his thing. He's playing good ball. The Brooklyn Nets are, an organization that's still up and coming, can potentially squeeze in. I don't see them being the 6th seed, though. There's no way. Come on. Brooklyn, let's go. I hope they do, but I just don't see it. I don't think they have the grit and the know-how to stay that high up in the East. Boston, whew. Hate them or love them or hate them. I hate them. Historic organization. I don't like their current makeup. Kyrie left Cleveland to be a leader. Now he's the leader and doing what? All it seems like he's doing right now is simply getting in the way of Jason Tatum. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I don't know, amazing ball handler, best ball handler in the league. Yep. Could have won multiple titles with James. Yep. chose to be a free agent, chose to leave the shadow of LeBron and take on his own team, which I can respect. But right now, I just feel like he's in the way. And the Boston Celtics, clubhouse is a mess because of that. You have young guys like Brown and Tatum who want more minutes, are not getting more minutes, had proven themselves or thought that they did with their coach in last year's playoff run. Kyrie comes back. Remember, Kyrie was off last year, right, during the playoffs. Now Kyrie comes back and is demanding to be the leader, deservedly so, but at the same time is not working very well in that role for the Celtics. So Celtics, I really thought they were going to be the number 1 seed, maybe the number 2 this season, but unfortunately they have fallen off big time in the East. So right now they're not on pace to keep up with the Raptors or the Milwaukee Bucks, but it's a long season. Mind you, Toronto's got the easiest schedule of the teams moving forward, of the Eastern Conference moving forward, and the Milwaukee Bucks, well, they've got Giannis. Sixers, another team that I thought would be much, much better, although I've got to say I didn't like them getting rid of Saric. I didn't like Saric being dealt. And Saric gave them something that, although they have Redick right now, are still lacking. They're lacking that outside to mid-range shooter. They're lacking that guy who is who wears the hard hat and comes to work every day ready to ball. I don't see that with some of their quote-unquote superstars. They've got a lot of superstars. Got a lot of talent. Ben Simmons, my guy, repping him today. Got Joel Embiid, who is a phenomenal player, if not the best center in the East right now. So, man, I don't know. I mean, I honestly thought they would be much better, but mind you, my guy, whose jersey I'm wearing today, is not shooting the ball. The guy can't shoot a free throw. What do you say to that, man? Indiana. Pacers. I love you guys. I love you. I'm a Raptor fan, like I said, but I love the hard work. I love your makeup right now. Your DNA is just amazing. Sabonis, Joseph. I know they're not your best players, but you know what? They bring a lot to the table. They bring a lot of heart, a lot of hard work, a lot of team first mentality. And you know what? You've shown that even without Oladipo, man, you guys can still put up those W's. Continue putting up the W's, Indiana. Love from Toronto. And at number 2, my Toronto Raptors. I'm going to try not to be biased and throw shade towards my team today because they lost to Orlando. And they didn't show up against Orlando. And Kawhi Leonard was sitting out again for rest or load management. All right, I understand it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid with you. You can't lose like that to Orlando today. Like, you didn't even show up. You cut the lead down to 1. You tied the game up. And just when you look like you were about to just stomp on that team and make it over the hump and win that game, you flatlined. Now, I'm not going to sit... Okay. Toronto Raptors. I've been following you since 95. And you've done this a lot. My guys just simply don't seem to have that killer instinct where they just stomp on the team when they have them down. Just let them know who's boss, whose arena you're in. No matter what players they've had in their lineup. Today they showed Charles Oakley in the stands, and I love the Oakman. He brought that hard work and determination, and the guy from TSN, the local sports network here, asked him who reminds you of yourself on this Raptor team? And Oak did his best to be politically correct and avoid the question. But the answer is no one. There's no one on this team tough enough right now to just, to grab an opponent and box out, pardon the pun, box out properly and pick up that game-winning rebound. Forget the shot. The rebound, the defensive rebound, the offensive rebound that will lead to that bucket. I don't see who's doing that in Toronto right now. I like Siakam. I love him. I was praying that he wouldn't get traded because, praying's a hard word. I was hoping he wouldn't get traded. But, because I just see so much potential in that guy. He only started playing basketball 6 years ago. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that he only started playing basketball 6 years ago? Very similar to Giannis' story, who only started playing basketball, I think when he was 16, and by the time he was 18, 19, he was drafted into the league. Crazy stuff, right? The athletic abilities and the athleticism, the genetic makeup of these men is just crazy. I like Leonard in Toronto. I mean, I could see him staying in Toronto. I just don't know if all of that is enough. I don't know if this team is gritty enough. Let's see what they can do. I honestly see them getting out of the East. I really do. If you're going to quote me on something this year or call me out on something, do so on the fact that I think the Raptors are winning the East. I just have a hunch feeling. And if they do, oh man, I'll be so excited. I mean, I'll be so happy. But if they don't, time for a change. Time for a change. I see a lot of guys needing to make some changes on the Raptors lineups. And then I will go on to the number 1 seed, and it's your Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are a nice team, and they brought in Mirotic. Great pickup. What Mirotic, or players like Mirotic, and I mentioned Saric before for Philadelphia, what he used to do and what Mirotic will do now for the Bucks is that they'll spread that court out, which will give players like Giannis a lot more space to just drive on the zone and take advantage of late double teams. Take advantage of teams that try to play him one-on-one. Mirotic was a key pickup. Now, Bledsoe. Watch out for Bledsoe, because Bledsoe is one of those guys that we said he's grimy. He's tough. He can, body you and use his shoulders and his strength and his speed and his court vision just to pick you apart offensively. Now here's where I'm not convinced with the Bucks, and the reason why I think the Raptors rather than the Bucks will win this year's Eastern Conference and play in the finals. I don't know whether they play Golden State. Check out the next episode to find out whether or not they'll play Golden State, but I don't like them defensively. Although they're super athletic and can block a lot of shots, although they are very well coached. I mean, after firing Jason Kidd, this team looks tough. I don't know that they'll have the playoff experience, the exposure to the pressure-packed games, and the necessary know-how and being able to apply that necessary know-how in order to get through the playoffs. I see the Raptors as having more of that understanding with Green, with Leonard, with Kyle Lowry, and everybody else on the Raptors who has been through these seasons where they were expected to go really far and plopped out in the second round. I like Milwaukee a lot. They needed a three-point shooter. They went and got one. I hope Mirotic works out for them. And I kind of don't, because I want the Raptors to win. But that's my review of the Eastern Conference as of right now. So we stand with Milwaukee at number 1, Toronto number 2, the Pacers at number 3, Philly is currently at number 4. Boston Celtics at 6. At 5. Brooklyn Nets at 6. Detroit at 7. Charlotte at 8. And the Orlando Magic are looking like they're just about to get into the mix here. You can see 28 wins each team, right? And then the losses for each one of the teams is just, Orlando just has 3 more losses than Detroit for the number 7 seed. So I think they can squeeze in. What do you think? And once again, follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure you mash up that bell and subscribe. Make sure you get notifications from our channel. And we'll be back soon with another video. I've been asked to post a schedule. I will be doing so shortly, as long as I can manage my time quicker and better rather, and understand when I'll be able to post these videos. I love keeping in touch with all of you. Thank you for the subscriptions. The channel keeps growing. Our community keeps growing. We're looking for more and more people to join us. And I think very soon that I'm going to have a collaboration with at least 2 or 3 different basketball people, so related to the basketball community, all right? So it may be on a matter of different things. So look out for the next episode. Subscribe, like, share. Make sure your friends and your family know all about us. And I'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you very much. Peace.